Travel back to the 60s and discover 20 treasures I'd pay to bring back today. From iconic fashion to timeless tunes, get ready to reminisce. Gelatin salads. In the 60s, every homemaker had two secret weapons: a Betty Crocker recipe book and a stash of lemon-flavored gelatin. With these tools in hand, they concocted salads that were like Picasso paintings on a plate, salty, sweet, and colorful enough. The taste combinations were quite unusual and could be considered weird nowadays. The cabbage and celery molded with lemon jelly or tomatoes mixed with gelatin and beer. But modern chefs may try cooking frozen strawberries on a sweet jelly bed. Don't forget to decorate the 60s gelatin salad with crushed pretzels. Your family members will be surprised with such an original dessert. The Telkin Home Video Recorder. June 24th, 1963, a day that rocked the world of young folks everywhere. Nottingham Electric Incorporated dropped a bombshell. They presented the Telkin, a home video recorder. You could snag it for 60 florin, either pre-assembled or in a DIY kit for the bravest. Sure, it had its quirks, but who cared when it meant freedom from the tyranny of cinema schedules and TV airtimes? The bell-bottom pants. In the groovy 60s, flared pants burst onto the scene. These pants were popular among sailors who needed easily rolled-up pant legs to feel comfortable while washing the deck. Then, this practical design sailed into showbiz, gracing the likes of Elvis Presley, Cher, and Sonny. In the 60s, any self-respecting college student had such a pair of trousers in his wardrobe. He proudly wore the bell-bottom trousers for the night of dancing at the sock hop. Slogan badges. The slogans first decorated the badges in 1896 when McKinley and Bryan battled for the White House, but the hippie era brought them back in the 1960s. Every groovy hippie craved to flaunt their ideals by donning badges decorated with quotes, political mottos, and wise thoughts. Ouija boards. At the end of the 19th century, the Ouija board was a serious device, necessary for spiritual seances, widespread at that time in the USA and Europe. The renewed popularity of Ouija boards was caused by horror movies, which had just appeared at that time. The Ouija board gained enormous popularity and in the 1960s overtook sales of many table games, including Monopoly. The first Barbie doll. In the 60s, nobody worried about how much plastic and cellulose dangers, so Mattel used these materials to create amazing toy worlds. That's when Barbie, the queen of dolls, came to life. By 1965, Barbie made Ruth and Elliot Handler, its creators, mega rich. Barbie became a cultural icon, and this great doll still shines bright today, evoking sweet memories of childhood play. Chevrolet El Camino. Nowadays, the Chevrolet El Camino looks too bulky and drives quite slow. However, in the 60s, your grandfather could kill to get such a vehicle and put it in his garage. The practical and elegant at the same time, El Camino was a favorite car at first for Americans and then for all town citizens in the world. The pickup was a good fit for business people leading an active way of life. El Camino is no longer manufactured, but you can pay to return it. The pre-used vehicle can be found on the market. The price range is from $10,000 to $45,000. The picture Couple Arguing by Robert Dale. Many of you have seen Robert Dale's paintings in the opening theme for Desperate Housewives. Back in the cool 60s, the picture Couple Arguing was innovative and different. I would pay a lot to return to those times when the young graphic designer Robert Dale created it. The arguing lady in the picture demonstrated that men and women should be treated equally, the new thing at that time. Audio cassette. Your flash drive also has a grandma, the quirky audio cassette. Philips unveiled this plastic relic back in '63, and the cassette turned any student into a party maestro. Beatles and Elvis tunes on those babies were more cherished than Grandma's secret recipe. Yep, until the 2000s, the audio cassette ruled the music scene, and honestly, I wouldn't mind a blast from the past with one. Andy Warhol's canned soup. Campbell's soup has been around forever, but it wasn't until the groovy 60s that it got a taste of fame, thanks to talented painter Andy Warhol. Andy, amid a personal crisis, decided to take a vacation. To jazz up his downtime, he bought every flavor of Campbell's soup under the sun. Back home, he painted each can like it's the Mona Lisa's cousin. Suddenly, art and soup became besties, and Andy became the talk of the town. The first ATM. The hot day on June 27, 1967, was incredibly important for the financial world. The very first ATM emerged in a little corner of London, like a banking superhero ready to save the planet. The comedian Reg Varney was the first person who got the cash at ATM, having endorsed the new invention. Hats off to that metal money beast who shook the financial world in the 60s. Amphicar. Originally designed by Nazis who used this car vessel hybrid for military operations, Amphicar was mass-produced in the USA in the 60s. The US 36th President Lyndon B. Johnson had such a prank. He used to tell his passengers that Amphicar was an ordinary auto and then drove them into a lake. The frightened passengers were shocked by the technical novelty. The Accutron wristwatch. Move over Omega and Long Islands, because everyone was head over heels for Accutron watches in the 60s. Created by the Swiss mastermind Max Hetzel, this watch was so precise that danced to its beat, this timepiece was like the rock star of accuracy. Bulova, which produced the timepiece with the turning fork inside, used the slogan, "Accutron is not a watch" in their ad, meaning that this is something more. Go-go boots. Now the term go-go boots means any kind of high female footwear, but in the 1960s, it was a leather masterpiece designed by the Frenchman André Courrigues. Young fashionistas wore these boots to discos and nightclubs where the mega-popular go-go dance was in great demand. Peplum miniskirts. In the 60s, young ladies ruined the idealistic hopes of their mothers and put aside their romantic long dresses, high hairdos, and pearl necklaces. The modern young woman at that time had to move fast and wasn't afraid to show her body. That's why peplum miniskirts became such a hit in the 60s. They symbolized new fashion trends, which replaced the conservative ideas of the 50s. Pucci prints. Back in the 60s, if you were rocking Emilio Pucci's flashy prints, you were a fashion prophet. Wearing those vibrant patterns on a scarf or a t-shirt meant you weren't messing around. You were living life loud and proud. And guess what? Even Marilyn Monroe, the queen of glamour, couldn't resist strutting her stuff in Pucci dresses. They were like the fashion equivalent of saying, "Hey world, check me out." Afros. After racial discrimination became illegal in 1964, African American fashion and culture had a comeback. People of all ages and backgrounds wore the fluffy afro hairstyle to show they liked the natural African American look. Previously, many African American people used to straighten and dye their hair to look more like Europeans, but in the 1960s, they started wearing their natural hair proudly, like the famous singer Diana Ross. Hippie-style necklace. In the vibrant 1960s, the iconic Pacific necklace symbolized a generation's longing for peace and unity. Worn proudly by hippies, it became a hallmark of their movement, alongside baggy shirts and flowing hair. Alongside the peace necklace, hippies embraced another love, marijuana, passed from New York jazz musicians to the youth. And in the whirlwind of the 60s, brass hookahs for smoking marijuana became as omnipresent as the desire for a better world. The banana seat bike. Nowadays, you can find the banana seat bike just in a vintage shop. But in the 1960s, that was all the rage. At that time, bicycle was considered a means of transportation for the poor, and often it was used by all the family members. An elongated bicycle banana seat with a gentle upward curve at the back could carry up to 4 passengers at the same time. Patchouli soap bar. Tired of luxurious dyers and guerlains, young folks of the 60s refused to use perfume as they considered natural smells of the human body the best ones. That is why the earthy, exotic scent of patchouli soap bar was so popular at the time. Used by both men and women, the patchouli soap bar emphasized on their equality and non-discrimination. So, these 20 things, which are hard to find now, made the 1960s decade so dynamic, free, and amusing. Which one is your favorite? Write in the comments section, and see you next time.